Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel outside the target demographic. Today we have a 65-degree day and a couple accessories to add to the wife's new Subaru Outback. So let's get started. Here in Northeast Ohio, we have all four of the seasons, and what that means is for 90 days during the summer, we have 90 degrees and 90% humidity, and none of that is acceptable. I have a letter into management and to God, but apparently he's busy with other things, and well, it's unacceptable. But what I've learned to do as far as a coping mechanism with my car is I added these window guards. What this allows me to do is I can lower the window down, and that will prevent the rain that usually accompanies those 90-degree days, because that's how you get the 90% humidity. That will allow your windows to be open, allow the air to exchange and not accumulate. So I think there's studies like within an hour the temperature can reach 150 degrees indoors inside your car, coming in through all the windows and being, you know, sealed in. So this is my solution for fighting that. Also, since I put her in a nicer car than I have, she has one of those sunroofs. But we got these window visors in. What you'll need are window visors, some rubbing alcohol, and a couple of paper towels. So with those, let's go ahead and get started. So with a couple of blasts of rubbing alcohol on a paper towel, we just want to clean these surfaces up. With rubbing alcohol, I believe this is 90%, it usually comes in 70 or 90%. The rubbing alcohol at temperature will evaporate relatively quickly. So by the time you're done with your last door, it should all be clear and you should be ready to go. Now, something you'll notice, and my tip for the video, is I started with the rear windows. We're actually going to start applying it on the first window that we did. And the rationale there is we don't know how well these are cut to shape. We are going to test fit them first. We don't know how long it takes for the adhesive to get a grip, how well it's going to hold, stuff like that. So if you're going to dork up one of the windows, it is better to not be the one that you'll be interacting with literally every day, literally every time you drive the car. So we're just going to clean that up. You can tell our time was not wasted here. We're going to let that dry a little bit. Let's go ahead and open up the box, and we're going to confirm fitment before we start adhering. Right off the rip, we can already see the most prominent place for it to get adhesion right on the front leading corner is already rolled over on itself. So we're going to just look over the tape, which was qualitily placed in place, I'm sure. Just make sure that they're actually there, and if they need to be refitted, that we refit them. So the rest of them look good. How much do you want to bet? Oh, all right, so that's actually on the passenger side. Less concerned about that. Hello, Anara. But we are going to go ahead and get them ready. As far as the instructions go, it says to clean the window, remove the tape, rub firmly over the mounting surface, press it into place, assuming it's a tape on, and then the other one's for in-channel type, which I'm not really sure we're going to be doing that. But it also says to reheat the mounting edge B&A installation with a heat gun or hair dryer. Okay, so might be worth heating up the tape a little bit with the heat gun if you have one, which I do, or a hair dryer, which is arguably the safer of the two methods. But sitting out in the sun probably be sufficient. These were outside, so they are, 65 degrees ambient temperature. We could get them a little warmer, but let's go ahead and start peeling and getting them ready. They do not appear to label them as individual sides, so you're going to be doing a little bit of puzzle piecing here. You can see there's a more prominent bend here than the relative 90 degree there. So we have a relative 90 degree here and more of a bend there. Confirm it's going on the door. You believe it is. Confirm the size and shape and fitment before peeling. Again, going back to the instructions, it said you could do the stick-on or the inside the column. This one appears to be a stick-on. I think it more depends on your vehicle more than your choice. So we did clean all the things. May be worth hitting it again depending on how long it takes you to sort all this out, but that's going to fit right about there. Now, also in my experience with the Outback, Thanks, loud car. You want to make sure that there is no overhang with this fitment. So if anything, you'd rather be a little bit further back, all the way up against this edge, and then come back over here and make sure that you aren't actually hanging over, which it looks like we are just the least littlest bit. So if anything, I would make sure that it is flush right in here. The one on my green, are you a worm? No. On the green Forester, I had a little bit of an overhang and I just had to cut it with nail clippers. Not really a big deal, but if you can avoid it to begin with, you'll be better off. We're going to be right about there, and a little bit of overhang here. So keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and press fit the first one on the other side. As we've covered, the instructions are unclear, so if in doubt, heat it all up. So I'm going to peel the red tape off. I'm going to heat up the adhesive. Before that, I'm going to heat up the car a little bit. It is plastic and what possibly could be metal or chromed plastic. So instead of opting for the heat gun, we're just going to use the hair dryer. I'm going to heat up the car first. I'm going to give it another wipe with the rubbing alcohol. It's better to make it as clean as possible. Then we'll heat this up, heat up the car again, and mate them, and it will look something like this. All right, so the first one's on. This is going to be a little tricky to show you with one hand, but I will. So I lined up on this edge as my primary. As I was lining up the second edge, I had this hand here, and I just kept my finger up against the chrome and the visor itself. With this hand, I kept my fingers up against the edge of the plastic and the edge of the chrome, and with this hand, I slowly started pressing it into place. So it was kind of peeled up, peeled away from the car, right? Like that. And slowly started applying it from this edge going backwards. Once it was all pressed into shape, I pushed really hard enough to just slice right through my finger. So these things are freaking sharp. Luckily, they're all the way up here, which means your kids are less likely to engage with them, but don't be an idiot like me. So you are going to want to push it pretty good, and what I did with that is open the door and start crushing it and giving it a thumb massage to press it into place. So went on simply enough, and we're looking at about 2.5, we'll call it 2 inches. You'll notice it's narrower here than there. Not sure why they did that, but so you'll be able to keep your windows open about 2 inches, maybe a little bit more because the water is going to fall here, right? So you could probably go 3 whole inches, but I will show you a trick with that as well. Let's go ahead and do the rest of them. So as I said, the trick is to wipe it down, all 4 of them, come over, confirm the fitment, let the car go by, use the heat gun to heat up the car, and it doesn't take much. I did about 3 passes at that speed, and give it a second wipe, and you'll see that quite a bit more is coming off of it. You want this as clean as you can get it, and it's a first impressions kind of thing. You don't get a second one, so impression because it's foam tape. So you want to make sure that this is super duper clean. I'm going to heat this up, I'm going to wipe it down, then I'm going to confirm fitment with the plastic, then I'm going to heat up that tape. By that time this is going to start cooling down, so I'm going to hit this with the second pass, hit the tape with the second pass, and adhere it. Confirming the fitment here, if I line up completely on this edge, like thusly, and go to here, it doesn't go all the way down. This one actually is going to attach to that, we'll call it A.5 column, the black down shot right there. And you'll notice the fitment, I could actually hold it correctly, the fitment is pretty close to covering up all the chrome there. So we're just gonna line that up as best we can. I'm going to try and hold this corner in place, that corner in place. Once I get it fitted, I'm going to hold the front in place. I'm going to peel this back tape, stick it in place, and then start pulling this top strip out the top as I slowly start pushing it across. And here we are with both of them done. Couple things I've noticed. As we ensure fitment, I noticed that, again, this did not continue all the way down the chrome. It went on this A.5 column. So I now know that I needed to make sure that I cleaned that and that I heated that up. I could have just as well kept this clean, kept that heated, went to attach it, and didn't do me any good. The other thing is the benefit of using a heat gun or a hair dryer, I would absolutely recommend it, is one, you're heating up the surface to give you better adhesion. Two, you're heating up the adhesive to give you better adhesion. And three, you're blowing away any debris and stuff that could be left over. The rubbing alcohol will chemically break stuff down, but it is a liquid that could start attracting dust and dirt and stuff like that. So by blowing it away, you're going to have an even cleaner surface. And then fourth, there is a bend to this. It almost bends in as it continues up. By heating up the plastic, it's going to be more pliable, more malleable, and it's going to be more willing to adjust to that shape as it's warm, and as it cures, it's going to hold that shape. And by doing that, it's not going to be challenging the adhesive you just put in place. So that is what the one side looks like. Let's go ahead and do the other. We now have 3 times more experience than we had 20 minutes ago. So now we are definitely, absolutely going to make sure that the driver's door is done right. And we are donesies. Looks much nicer. Probably going to be a little louder with the wind noise, although this car is very quiet. It better be as a premium trim level. But going to give you a little bit better airflow while driving and especially while parked, regardless of raining, snowing, thunderstorming, tornadoes, avalanches, all the things that Ohio is known for. So with that, we're going to let it cure for, it says 24 hours. I'm sure we'll totally going to be doing that, and you can trust me because I'll be off camera. There is one final trick I will show you, and that is inside the car. Gives you a little bit of a sunshade too, assuming the sun's on your left or right. The last thing you're going to need is electrical tape. And what you'll do is one time you'll confirm the lowest the window can go, and then I put the black electrical tape, I'm going to switch hands here, right here. Now no one will know it's there because it's black on black, but you'll be able to see the contrast right there in the middle of the screen. And as soon as you pull into a parking lot or whatnot, you can use this as your lowest reference point. Then you can just look behind you and be able to roll that window down to the same height. And then you'll be able to look over here and confirm that you set your passenger window to the same height. And then you'll do the same over there. And there you go. You now have your windows vented to the correct position, and a little bit better sun glare, and a little bit better air circulation in your car. All for, I think these were like $35, admittedly more expensive than the ones I put on the Forester. They seem to be bigger, they seem to be better, but that's how things go. So this is Outside the Target Demographic. I appreciate you guys coming along. Hopefully I was able to help you guys out if you decide to do the same thing. Better to clean too much and heat too much. Overshoot would be my recommendation on cleaning the plastics before applying, and you should be in good shape. So as I said, this is Outside the Target Demographic. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Any questions, comments, concerns you have, leave them in the comments section below, and I will catch you guys in the next video.